I've been using the AirPod Pro 3 since they came out, and today I want to share with you my thoughts about them, whether or not I think they're worth purchasing, and how they compare to the AirPod Pro 2s. Let's start with one of the biggest reasons that you buy earbuds in the first place: sound quality. Now, overall, I think the sound quality on these AirPod Pro 3s are excellent. They create very immersive sound. There's definitely a good amount of bass with these earbuds, and compared to the AirPod Pro 2s, I would say the bass is stepped up a little bit, which may or may not be good for you, just depending on the type of sound profile that you like. Besides that, the only other differences I noticed in terms of sound quality compared to the AirPod Pro 2s, these sound slightly clearer and the sound is a little bit richer. I definitely do not think you'll be disappointed with the sound quality on these earbuds. Next, let's talk about what for me was the biggest selling point of these AirPod Pro 3s: noise cancellation. According to Apple, the noise cancellation on these earbuds is 2 times better than the AirPod Pro 2s, and I don't totally agree with that. When I listen to them side by side, I would say these are maybe 20% better noise cancellation, which to me is still amazing because the Pro 2s already had awesome noise cancellation. If that's an important feature for you, like it is for me, even that 20% bump is worth taking a serious look at these. You know, I love wearing them when I go to the airport, when I'm going on walks, even when I'm, working from home. You can truly shut out the noise that's happening around you with these earbuds. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the new tips. They definitely made a few changes here. The first is just literally the shape of them. If you compare these two, I'll hold a AirPod Pro 2 up here. So with the AirPod Pro 3, the tip is rotated inward a little bit compared to the older version. And at first I was a little skeptical on how that would actually fit in my ear, but it actually creates a much better seal. It does take a few days to get used to. There's some earplugs out there called loops. You have to rotate that earplug a little bit to fully set it into your ear. You kind of have to do the same thing with these. So again, if that's new to you, it may take a few days to get used to how that works. But ultimately, like I said, it does create a more immersive sound quality because of that better seal. There's also a difference in the material that they used. With this newer version, they used a foam infused tip, which allows it to kind of mold a little bit better into your ear canal. One of the biggest complaints people have with AirPods is that they don't fit in their ears or they fall out of their ears. So Apple's done a few things to address that. First, they have even more tip sizes here that you can try to accommodate more ear shapes. But the second thing, just going back to this new shape of these tips and then the foam material that they use, these fit more snug in my ear than any earbuds I've ever tried. If that's been a struggle for you in the past, definitely give these a shot. Next up, let's talk a little bit about the connectivity of these headphones. So when you first get them, in order to connect them to a device, you no longer have a physical button on the back. Now, what you do is you open the lid and then you tap the front until you see a white light start to blink. And then that makes it essentially discoverable so you can connect to other devices. That's one of the major selling points of AirPods, just how seamlessly they connect to your Apple devices. And these are no exception. They connect right away. And when you jump between devices, like going from your MacBook to your iPhone or vice versa, it's able to adapt and kind of move between the devices as you're using them, which is really cool. Another big feature with the AirPod Pros is the different modes that they have. The first one we already talked about is noise cancellation. That one is going to heavily isolate any exterior noise around you and remove that from your earbuds. Then we have transparency mode, which allows for you to hear your surroundings as if you don't have the earbuds in at all, but you're still able to listen to the music or podcast, whatever you're actually listening to on the device. And then we have adaptive audio, which kind of blends those two together, the noise cancellation and the transparency mode. So you're able to kind of have the best of both worlds. If you need to be able to hear your surroundings, you can do that. But then if the surroundings get too loud, say there's like cars that really start zooming by you, the adaptive audio will dial down the volume of those sort of background sounds. And then there's conversation awareness mode, which hyper focuses on just allowing you to have those conversations with people around you as easily and seamlessly as possible. I didn't notice any differences in how the modes perform on the AirPod Pro 2s compared to the 3s, with the exception of noise cancellation. Like I said, that one is about 20% better on the newer version. Next up, let's talk a little bit about battery life on these earbuds. So definitely an important feature when it comes to wireless earbuds that you're taking on a trip, you're going to work, have a commute, whatever it may be, you want these earbuds to last a while. The AirPod Pro 3s definitely deliver. So for me and how much I listen to music throughout the day, these last me about 8 to 9 days on average, which I'm really happy with. That's with them going back into their case to kind of recharge when I'm not using them. And typically I have active noise cancellation on about half the time. According to Apple, they claim you can get up to 24 hours with the AirPod Pro 3s when having active noise cancellation on and when putting them back in their case so they can recharge. When comparing to the older version, I didn't notice any major differences on battery life. In both cases, the battery life lasts longer than I expected, so no major gripes here. Lastly, I just want to hit on a few other really cool features when it comes to the AirPod Pro 3s. First, they use a USB-C, which may not sound super impressive, but compared to the very first version of the AirPod Pro 2s, which used a Lightning cable, this was a very welcome upgrade since just about everything now is USB-C, so that's super nice. These also charge wirelessly as well. The AirPod Pro 3s are IP57 water resistant, which is an upgrade from the IP54 water resistance that we saw with the Pro 2s. So what exactly does that mean? What's different about that? With the IP57 resistance on the newer version, they can handle heavy rain, being around water sports, accidental drops in water even. That won't be the case with the older version. They're basically just splash proof, but if these are dropped in water, they may not survive that. Another really cool feature that caught my eye when these were announced was the heart rate sensor. So you can not only track your heart rate, but also calories burned. That information is sent to the health app on your iPhone, so you can see a full report on those metrics. And then the last feature that you probably heard a lot of talk about with these are the live translation capabilities. So that functionality is actually available on the older version and even some other AirPod versions because it's a software update ultimately. I tested it with some native speakers in French and Spanish. It got a lot right, but it definitely had a few mistakes too. So not super impressed with the live translation, but that is a new feature. So I'm sure they're going to iterate on that and improve it more and more over time. So with all that being said, are the AirPod Pro 3s worth purchasing? For me, it's a definite yes. I'm very happy with picking these up. I love the sound quality. I love the additional noise cancellation capabilities. As I said, this is now USB-C, which is super convenient. And then, some of the extra bells and whistles like the heart rate sensing is nice to have. The second question is, should you upgrade if you have an older version of the AirPod Pros? I think the easiest way to answer that is, are you a noise cancellation fanatic? If you really want the maximum noise cancellation, then I would say you definitely need to upgrade. Or if you're more of like an audiophile and just really enjoy getting the most premium sound you can get in an earbud, you'll definitely notice a little bit of a clearer, crisper sound in these earbuds compared to the older versions. So in that case, I would say also probably worth the pickup. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, whether or not you picked these up, and if so, what your thoughts are. Happy to answer any questions in the comments section too. Thanks for watching.